Welcome back. We're in the final section now. Now, this is an incredible story. A young lad who was a mascot for Arsenal 12 years ago, Nico Yennaris, was a mascot for a game when Arsenal played Coventry City. 12 years later, Arsenal face Coventry City tonight, and he might be playing. That is incredible, isn't it?
It's a great story. You know, you just look at him and, you know, it's every boy's dream first to be a mascot. And then as you get older, you want to play for the team that you supported. By the way, Tony Adams' short looks like a little skirt, by the way, there. But anyway, that's besides the point. But what a wonderful story. And that's what football brings up. Always brings up these sorts of stories, that romantic, you know, that like to be a mascot and play for the team, but to play against a team who are mascoting, absolutely incredible. It must be an amazing night for him if he does play.
Nathan, growing up as a Wolves fan.
Yeah.
Well, I presume you grew up as a Wolves
fan.
You didn't swap for the glory. Did you ever? You must have dreamed of playing for Wolves. Did you ever come close? Were you ever a mascot or a ball boy?
No, I got into football a bit late because, unlike most people, my dad might be watching tonight. He's not a football fan, so my parents up sticks and moved to Milton Keynes when I was 12.
Yeah, he's not a football fan.
I came back when I was 17, 18 to go to university because Molineux's next door to the uni. That was the only reason I chose Wolverhampton, and I've lived there ever since for God knows why. But yeah, I think I played on the pitch and I played on a few pitches and I played on St Andrews and the Millennium, but that's as close.
Oh, excellent! So you played on a proper pitch?
Yeah, I played. But I've not got the skills to pay the bills. I mean, it's corporate stuff.
So, that's fun. That's good fun.
I'm not a great. I'm not brilliant. I can run up and down, but you know.
There's magic in every football ground, isn't there? No matter how big or small, anything that's got, as long as there are goalposts.
Exactly.
That's it.
And it's not what you realise when you get on the pitch, is it? Have you been on the pitch, John?
Yeah. Well, once, twice. But,
pitch invasion.
Yeah, going on trying to when we lost 7-0 to Birmingham.
That one.
Trying to stop the game. Yeah, but no, I've never played on one of the big grounds. I've played on Yeovil's ground in the old one with the
the slanted pitch.
But no, that's about all.
Wow.
But no, I mean about. Local lad wants to play for the local team. I mean, I still do.
Yeah.
I still want to turn out for Stoke,
Can you box?
I can. I've got a stiff neck.
The thing is, there was a Doncaster chairman. Do you remember the Doncaster chairman now? I can't remember his name. He went out, who actually played in the last game of the season.
Yes,
and that's what you need to do. You need to buy your club, and then you can do what the hell you want. You expect Abramovich to be playing next week against Man United at Old Trafford as well. That's what you need to do.
We're joined now by Richard on Skype. Hello there, Richard.
How you doing, lads? You all right?
I'm all right, mate. Now, you're an Arsenal fan.
Certainly.
You look like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I'd like half his money, I know that.
Richard, this Nico Yennaris, is he familiar to you? Have you heard much about him?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I'm not sure, but I think he came on in that match against Man United as well. When we got done 8-2. He's been around, you've been hearing good things about him, but I think he got sick and whatever. But apparently he's got a bit of a name for himself, and it's an amazing story. He's sort of like in 2000 being a mascot, and then coming back to play against the same team he mascoted against. You can't ask for more dreams than that, can you?
No. As a boy, did you dream of playing for Arsenal?
Nah.
Right.
Moving on.
No, not really. No. I never dreamed about playing. I wasn't really that great at football. Fantastic athlete, but I wasn't a great footballer.
Well, sounds like me.
I just presumed that everyone wanted to play for the team they supported when they were a kid. I just thought that was like a standard fantasy.
Well, to be honest, when I used to play football and that, you'd actually, as a kid, I used to think about playing for England, really. If you thought about playing for a team, whenever you was going to take a penny or anything like that, you was England.
So what players of your era, Richard, did you want to emulate?
I don't know, I suppose if you could have emulated anybody without the handball, you could have emulated Maradona. He's the greatest player I've ever seen.
Crikey, Richard, you're full of surprises.
He is. I mean, I had this argument with somebody the other day about the handball Maradona, but isn't it the same as going over the box and getting the penalty and then scoring? Yeah. Isn't it the same as cheating?
Well,
in other ways,
no, but there's something about a deliberate handball that's...
Deliberate dive. You said Welbeck the other day.
Oh, no. Oh, absolutely. I hate diving and rolling around and all the rest of it.
Just as bad. But Maradona was, I totally agree with Richard, unbelievable footballer.
See, I find it hard to accept him as an icon.
Well, you can't deny that he's the best footballer of his generation.
I know, but he was...
Just because you don't like him personally doesn't really matter. But he was a great footballer.
You make it sound like I've got a private beef with him.
Yeah, he sounds like
fell out of a soup. No, I've never met the man. But, there's something about the sort of, alleged taking of substances and things like that, you just think, oh man, come on.
Look, Jules Best. Yeah, he took
loads of
substances, didn't he? But he was still a genius, wasn't he?
Absolutely.
But he wasn't portrayed in the same way as Maradona because he didn't do that. But he still took loads of things, but was a genius.
Indeed, that's a fair point. Richard, I'm sure you'll be following tonight's game closely. Do you have a prediction, mate?
Yeah, I mean, with all due respect to Coventry, they haven't done so well in their league this season. I think it depends what sort of side he puts out, but I think we could put out sort of like any 11 and sort of and maybe win 3-0, 4-0.
In fact, you could put out any 8 against Coventry at the moment because they're struggling. Mark Robin's just taken over, so they're going to be difficult, isn't it?
It is indeed.
It's a bit of a shame what's happened down there, to be perfectly honest. If it was going to happen to a Midlands team, I'd rather it happen to Stoke, not Coventry. But
oh dear. That's not gone down well, Richard. Richard, thanks for joining us, mate.
Pleasure, lads.
Enjoy the game.
Take care, mate.